Hello and welcome. I got a crazy late 80s indie book here, and it's weird. It is absolutely a weird book. It's got four stories in it, two of which are continuation, like the same story. I just have to show you. It's like a sci-fi anthology thing. Never heard of it before. It was both more and less interesting than I thought it would be. I got it out of the 50-cent bin. Speaking of which, I mean, it's in not bad shape for free. Like, I got this for free. We start off here with this, called Star Biker's story. And this dude's like a smuggler. And so the first part of the story, he is basically meeting up with his contact who looks suspiciously like Linda Hamilton in Terminator with some anatomy problems. That's definitely not how sunglasses, like, that's not, the foreshortening is wrong, like with the face. Either that or she's got a hideous mutant face, but over here does not appear to be a hideous mutant face. Then he goes from that to another story where he spends like 57 paragraphs talking about the history of hover bikes. And I'm just like, and motorcycles too. And I'm just like, what? This is actually the second story. There's like a 4-page story and then another like 4-page story for Star Bikers, and they're connected sort of. So he's supposed to go pick up the shipment here that he was selling to the Linda Hamilton character, and I don't know. It doesn't work for me. That first story was kind of interesting, and I didn't even realize this was the continuation of it when I got here. And all this text is just absolutely ruining my desire to read this book. There's way too much of it. It's a shame because I kind of like this art, man. It feels gritty. Like it matches the setting that the artist is, or that the story is going for. Kind of sci-fi, smuggling, crime, grittiness. Like it's there. You're nailing it. As I drop the book on the floor because I am a professional. Oh, am I going to edit it out? Of course not. I don't do that. But I am going to push on the desk to make the camera wobble. Also not professional. Anyway, then there's this other story with this guy, and honestly, the only thing I liked about this was the art, because I liked this crazy robot. It actually reminds me a little bit of Larry King's art. There's just like this really dope fight between this dude, warriors come out to play. This dude and this giant killer robot. It's pretty fun, pretty fun. Unfortunately, the rest of the story itself just doesn't really do much for me. I know I'm reviewing a book from 30 years ago that nobody's read. Then finally we get to this last one. And I guess this is like the epitome of indie, because this last story is basically a prose story, a little short story with some pictures by Gene Day and Dan Day, who I'm presuming are related to each other. Maybe they're not. And it's basically the story of like the Korean War, except it's post-apocalyptic. And it's depressing. And the art is pretty great. There's lots of stylistic flourishes and stuff here. I dug the art. I didn't really dig the story. And that brings us to the end of the issue. And apparently in 60 days, the next issue of this story comes out, or the next issue of this series. Never seen another one. Probably will never see another one. This was an interesting pickup. I think back in the 80s, even if I'd had money to buy comic books and I'd been like 10 years older, so that instead of being like, you know, a kid, being like a teenager or college age or something, I think I still would have been disappointed in this book in the 80s. Like, for $2? For $2? Really? For $2? You're giving me like two related short stories that I don't care about. Oh, actually, you know, hold on. There's one thing in here that is awesome. The dude is looking for, he's going to go buy the drugs from This dude, right? And who's the dude? The Rockabilly Kid. And he's like, how do you know? Or how do you identify somebody with a name like that? Yep, that's the Rockabilly Kid. Just look at him. That was a great character design. I liked it. It was fun. I wish there had been so much dang text in this book. So you never know what you're going to get from 80s books. What you're going to get out of the 50-cent bin. Because usually when I go to the 50-cent bin, I'm not looking for like particular things. I'm just kind of like, does it look interesting? Do I have it already? And if the answer to the first one is yes, and the answer to the second one is no, I'll pick it up. And this looked interesting, and turns out I'm a little let down. But it's still a weird piece of 80s indie. I've never heard of Renegade Press before. I don't know anything about them. That's not true. Suddenly I have the suspicion that I have like a graphic novel or something published by them. What was it? The Verdict or something? Like I got it for $1 at a junk store. You never know what you're gonna get, man. Sometimes you find some really cool stuff. Sometimes you find some not nearly so cool stuff. But regardless of the case, I'm gonna let you go. Have a great day. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. And if you find anything weird out of the 50-cent bin or the dollar bin or whatever the equivalent is at your store, let me know. Like I'm always interested in checking out some stuff, you know?